The 8th person voted on the Survivor text is Blossoms and Thorns, and the 3rd member of the jury. Oh, that's it. Let's bring me your torch.
That was definitely really hard, and it's just like, I know she's really disappointed right now, and all of her loved ones were sitting there watching her, so I feel horrible.
Everything worked perfectly. I just want to publicly apologize for any previous comments I made about playing with a bunch of idiots. I do think that they're not all idiots necessarily. Do I think some of them are a little bit crazy? Yes.
Yikes. I'm officially not on the right side of things. Closest ally got very tough. This immunity just got twice as important. I think Michael still voted for Sailor. I think he went along with the plan. I think we were the 3 on the outs.
I think Roy was as blindsided as anyone else. So Roy and I have to go probably hand in hand and try and get somebody, but next week looks ugly already.
My biggest fear happened. Sarah and Crystal flipped. Plus, I voted Crystal, so that looks double bad for me.
I planted the seed all the way back when Alexis put her vote towards Sailor at our second tribal council. So the tribal council that Jeff went home in, I realized Alexis was getting really close to everybody. Like, Trinity, Michael, and me, and Sailor were all really close to her, and she was kind of like the person in the middle, you know?
Alexis was just absolutely just controlling Michael and Roy. Like, they were just worshiping the ground she walked on.
And that was one of my best friends. I'm sad that I wasn't able to protect her, but she's gone. Well, we gotta pivot quickly.
I feel like I could see myself working with Sarah potentially, even though she voted against. I feel like she's still maybe open to it, but she also threw my name out there early on in the game. It's kind of clear that that line's kind of been drawn. I feel like I'm probably the next big target, if not Michael. Probably Michael, honestly, because I think he's regarded as the most, likable person out of the whole tribe, and he also won that immunity challenge. But ideally, if I can get on the good side, maybe bring over Crystal and Sarah against Sailor and Andres.
I would love to target either Michael or Roy next. I don't really care which one goes first. I feel like if Roy somehow made it to the end, he would get Alexis's vote. Like, I feel like maybe some of the old Blue Bonnets might vote for him. Michael is just so likable. Like, he would get so many votes just for being him.
If I lose, I'm probably on the docket soon. Holy, I should have texted Sarah this week. So it'll be a big challenge for sure. I got to do good.
Worst case scenario in terms of who is safe, I guess, Andres or Sailor again. I think they're the biggest threats in the game right now. So one of them winning is not ideal because I think one of them have an idol too, if not both.
If I don't win, I feel like I could maybe work something to make it through this next tribal without having to play the idol, but I only have 2 more chances to play it. So, though I would love to save it for Final 5, if I really feel like I need to play it, I will at Final 6.
All right, remaining Cherry Blossoms, welcome to the Final 6 Immunity Challenge. Roy and Crystal, it's a good thing that you guys have not gone on your P-Terry's reward just yet, because this challenge involves a lot of spinning. In this challenge, you guys will spin on the umbrellas behind me. You will spin 5 times and then go and collect a ball. And you will get the ball in your bucket from behind the line. Every time you score a ball in a bucket, you move the bucket back 5 feet and you attempt again. The first player to score 3 balls in the bucket wins immunity, just like that. And it's at the Final 6, Tribal Council cannot be voted out and guaranteed a spot in the Final 5. All right, survivors ready? Let's get to it. Survivors ready, on go. 3, 2, 1, go! And they're off. 6 tops, 6 dreidels. All of them want immunity. Five spins from all of them. Just like that, Michael drains the first one. You can't even tell that he's dizzy. Roy gets his. Sailor squares up again. Drains his. Already 3 of the survivors have moved on to the second tier of this challenge. Andres hits a rimmer. Michael, not so lucky this time around. Roy just misses. Sarah misses? Sarah makes hers. Crystal. It's harder than it looks, trust me. Andres pays his spin tax. Lots of different strategies. Crystal comes up just short. Sarah just misses. Andres, a devastating miss. Still on tier 1 in this challenge. These spins are getting less beautiful. Roy thinks it. Just like that, Crystal moves on to the next phase of this challenge, leaving Andres by himself in last place. Continued. Michael drains his, moves on to the last portion of this challenge. Michael is just one throw away from winning. Of course, that's easier said than done. Andres gets off the starting line. Every player now on their second bucket at least. Michael shooting for the win. Michael, it looked pretty.
Thank you.
Just won immunity, would love it again. Crystal bowls her ball for some reason. Sailor comes up just short, hits the lip. Do it right. Sailor patiently waiting his turn, looking both ways before he crosses the street. Sarah has to pay her final spin. Which ball is hers? All contestants slowing down. Michael just narrowly misses immunity. Sailor lips it again. Michael squares up, just misses it. Andres drains it. He is now tied with Michael for first place. Was in dead last mere moments ago. Andres would love immunity for the first time in this game. Just like that, Michael drains it, wins immunity. Nearly half the contestants still on the second line. Michael probably can't even see straight, but what he can see is the final 5. Safe on Thursday's vote. Well played, everyone. All right, Michael, congratulations. Didn't have that off your head for very long. Safe at the final 6, guaranteed spot in the final 5. In addition, a big decision to make. I have with me the third clue to the hidden immunity idol. Hidden somewhere on campus. You can give it to 2 people.
Right. I'll do Sailor. It's been working.
All right, Sailor and Roy, I have with me the third clue to the hidden immunity idol. You guys will read it together and do what you will with it. Everyone else, I will see you on Thursday, where somebody will become the 4th member of the jury and the 9th member voted out of Survivor Texas Blossoms and Thorns. All right, I'll see you then.
In a garden where flowers bloom, a hidden treasure waits in gloom. Near pots of blue, a starlit place, seek forth thorns and petals of grace. I feel like it's even worse than the last clue. I feel like the last one was more helpful than this.
Yeah.
Overall, the challenge was, once again, I didn't think I was gonna win it.
Dizzy. Nauseating. I hate spinning. That was like the worst challenge ever.
I thought that for this challenge, going like a little slower than everybody else would help me from getting dizzy and like help me shoot better. And it did stop me from being dizzy, but it didn't stop my bad aim.
I'm glad I came somewhat close. I was like second place, kind of. I kind of knew Michael was gonna win though, because Michael's a basketball player, and like, I knew that was not equipped for me. When I made the second bucket, I was like, hold, I could win this, and then Michael made it like right away, and I was like,
I was feeling really confident coming in here. I was like, I'm gonna win this challenge. I'm gonna get my spot in the final 4. I'm gonna win tonight, play my idol at 5, and be safe for 4. And then as soon as y'all said spinning, I was just like, all right, well, there goes that plan. Now I gotta, figure out what I'm gonna do next.
I thought I would do a lot better in this challenge than previous challenges, and I was fantasizing about winning it on the way here, but I'm delusional, so didn't work out.
I think Michael winning 2 challenges is definitely something kind of crazy. I think that it's something that everyone kind of wants to keep an eye out for.
I don't think I would vote out Michael until toward the end. I think maybe Roy would be my best pick. I was gonna do Andreas for this next one, but now that I'm thinking about it, I think I should do Roy, then Andreas, and then Michael.
Honestly, I don't think Michael needed immunity this week. I think that my preferred target would have probably been... I don't know. I honestly don't know where to go from here.
I decided today after superlatives who I want to sit next to me in Final 3, and that's Sarah and Sailor, because Andreas got voted for like most wanting to like win at the end of the game other than yourself. So that's a huge red flag. And then Sarah got voted that she was underperforming, or like she hadn't performed to her highest capabilities, which is good because that's an argument against her, and like people already don't think she's doing good. The reason I would have Sailor in there is not for him specifically, it's more because Roy and Michael being there, I'm losing Alexis's vote because she's definitely going to vote for one of them.
I just talked to Sarah over FaceTime because we're both really busy people. But talked to her, basically said, I threw out a name first last week. What are you thinking? Luckily, she said Roy.
Andreas, Sailor, Crystal, or me to be for Final 4. I think everyone knows that if you're next to Roy, he's gonna win, maybe. And if we're next to Michael, like, you're also screwed.
We really both feel that Michael and Roy we cannot sit next to in the end. Roy is a big challenge threat. That would take away our chances at making Final 4. And then the talk with Michael was a little more interesting. We talked for about 45 minutes and said basically nothing. But I did pitch Roy. I was like, dude, like, you and Roy are on the bottom. You said it yourself, because he basically said outright, like, Roy knows he's in trouble. I know I'm in trouble next. And I basically said, like, look, you need to win immunity next week. And Roy is your biggest competition in doing that. Like, if you keep him around, then you're screwed. And he basically said, like, if he's gonna talk around, but if he really feels like Roy is the one in trouble and there's nothing you can do about it, he'll vote Roy.
I don't go down without a fight. If I'm going down, I'm going down swinging. So I want to tell you my current plan because I think it's genius. There's 6 people, right? Michael and I are a strong 2. We're a strong 2, and I did get the idol clue, and I found the area where it would have been. There were a bunch of blue pots there. I took a picture. It was not there, meaning Sailor has to have the idol. Because he didn't have the blue pot clue, but he did search around there already, and people saw him on Speedway, filming himself, forming confessional, a little bit happy.
Dude, you were so close to being spotted with that idol. I don't know if you realized how close you were, but immediately as soon as we walked off, I started filming a confessional, a self-confessional, and Alexis and Crystal saw me. And they saw me, which was literally like not even a minute after we split up. Like, it was close. You got lucky.
So were they sitting outside of Justin?
I think they were sitting outside of Greg.
Sailor, I promise, does have an idol. I'll say that.
You think he does, or you know so?
See those blue pots there?
Wait, can I see it?
In the new jester?
Okay.
So I scoured this place high and low, and there was absolutely nothing to be found. Now, I'm pretty positive this is where it would have been. You got cacti, you got everything you need, you got the blue pots, and there was nothing there.
And here's the thing. I cooked again because I told him, I was like, yeah, I went looking, but I didn't find it, and I was filming a confessional about how pissed I was. Which, honestly, that's not lying, because I didn't find it, and I was pissed because, I wanted to find it. But, like, they ate that shit up. Crystal still believes it. She's like, she
still believes
yes,
it?
she ate it up.
So who does he think has the idol?
I have no clue.
Dude.
So I found that, and we already had suspicions about Sailor filming. I don't know, like I heard Alexis told me about how
So this is a jester?
Yeah.
Okay.
Remember, like when y'all saw
Him at jester?
like filming himself. So I really feel strongly that he found the idol that night. At the very least, I feel like y'all should get Sailor to burn his idol, because I mean he's sitting on it. Because if he has the idol and you go into next week, if he doesn't play it this week, and yeah, I am the easy vote to go home. But if you don't at least maybe split votes with Sailor, then Sailor is going to have the idol next week, and he is going to have an automatic Final Four.
Here's the plan. Strongly pushing a Final Three with Crystal, Michael, and me. Now, I believe that I can convince her that the Blue Bonnets previously voted out would vote for her instead of me, because that might be true. I'm going to still make a case. I think I could, but I, betrayed Jackson. She was strong with him, so Jackson would vote her. I believe the rest of the Blue Bonnets would lean her way instead of mine. That's the first thing. If I can convince her to vote Andres, he would not expect it. We're not sure if he has an idol, but he have no reason to play it anyway because he doesn't think he's in any danger right now. And let's say everyone voted against me except us three, so it's 3-3. Roy, Andres. It's a revote, right? We vote the same way, then it's a tie, sure. Now, I'm safe, and Andres is safe, and Sailor's still available to vote out, and so is Sarah and Crystal. But we would just vote 3 together again, and I'd be safe. I'm gonna have to cook. I'm going to have to slice and dice at P. Terry's, but I know I can do it.
I'm not opposed to working with you and Michael. I assume you guys are working together.
I mean, yeah. I mean, we don't have much of a choice.
But if we could just get any more information about idols, if we can figure that out, like I would work. If we can find out for sure that certain people have idols or anything, like I would totally be down to like work with y'all.
My thing is, there's no way we're gonna be able to find out anything about the other idol. There's no reason for someone to share anything. I feel like I've given a really strong case for Sailor having it, because if I had it, I just wouldn't say anything, and I would be able to basically vote out whoever I wanted this week. So I think this is probably the strongest case we're gonna have for knowing someone has an idol this week.
I thought Andreas also had an idol for the longest time, but I talked to him today, and like maybe he's just really good at lying, but I feel convinced that he doesn't.
Doesn't have one? Okay.
Do you have an idol?
I didn't have an idol.
I was so convinced you had an idol. Like,
I wish I had an idol.
everyone thinks you have an idol, I'm pretty sure. Or maybe it's just because like I keep saying like I think he might have.
Bro,
like,
you telling me everybody to have an idol?
No, because Jackson was the one that kept drilling into my head like I think he has an idol. I think he has like, and,
Dude,
and then everyone was
I
telling me
knew
y'all were like close or something. So I was like, just
You and Jackson?
Yeah.
We were never close. I did not know he said that.
Yeah.
What the hell? I mean,
Well, I believe you now. Like I don't
Okay.
think you have an
okay,
idol at all.
no, I
but,
mean,
like,
I don't know what else I can do. Like besides tell you I do not have the idol.
I believe you.
No, so plan tonight. Sarah and Crystal seem pretty solid. Obviously, we're still really nervous. But I talked to Sarah today. She was a little worried that Roy might have an idol. Fair concern, especially at this point in the game when there's still 2 yet to be played. There's no way for me to basically say, trust me, I think we're good. Like, I really don't think he has an idol. There's no way for me to just continue emphasizing that without raising any flags and making her suspicious that I have an idol or that I could even have both idols. So I had to just basically say like, yeah, that's a good idea. Should we split the vote? And I was like, but there's no way to split the vote without putting it on one of the 4 of us, being Andreas, myself, Crystal, and Sarah. And she's like, I don't know. And I was like, well, I guess if it's just between you and me, like if we want to stay strong, just you and I, who would you rather put the split vote on? Unfortunately, she said Andreas. Basically said that she's still on board for Roy. She was going to throw a vote on Andreas as a split just in case, but she told me that she's very convinced, and Michael and Roy had insisted that they wanted to go for Crystal. So she figured at that point there's no point in throwing a split vote anywhere, because even if Roy throws plays the idol, if Michael and Roy are voting together, which it seems like they will, Crystal's going to go home no matter what. So it really doesn't matter if she splits it. I went along with it because I didn't want to out ourselves as having idols or as being close, So he's definitely a little worried now. He's definitely kind of freaking out. But I'm assuring him, like, as long as myself, Andreas, and Crystal stick together, there is no mathematical possibility that he could go home. There is only, the worst case scenario is a 3-3 split, where it's Andreas, myself, Crystal vote for Roy, Sarah throws a vote on Andreas, and Michael and Roy also happen to vote for Andreas, and it's a 3-3 split. worst case scenario, and in that scenario, Roy and Andreas can't vote, and then it's Sarah, Crystal, and I's 3 votes against Michael's 1, and Roy would go out. All I know is I'm happy that there might finally be a tribal council where I don't see my name written down when I don't have immunity. This is like oddly the most comfortable I felt going into tribal, which subsequently makes me the most nervous I've been. Because there's no reason I should be feeling this comfortable right now.
I was gonna say, I think it's the reason like you're also just so nervous is because like I guess you're used to hearing your name at this point.
Dude, my name
So
is
it's
come
like
up at every single tribal council. Like, it's just expected at this point.
I just got off of a FaceTime call. I talked to Michael first, and then I talked to Roy and Michael at the same time. It was really fun because Michael had his whiteboard, and we were like planning out votes.
Last night, Crystal on the phone told me that she has an advantage that she has to play this week, and that she wanted to make a move and get back at Sailor.
Basically, I decided that I don't want to end Survivor and never have used my idol that I can only use up until this very tribal, which is the loves me not advantage. Originally, me and Jackson had won this at whenever we were doing call-outs for one of the challenges, and it was supposed to be that if we put both of our little necklaces together, it makes an idol. But then if one of us leaves the game with that advantage, then it turns into a reflective vote. So if someone was voting for me and I thought they were voting for me and I played this on them, then the vote for me turns into a vote for them in addition to my own vote for them.
We're assuming Sailor's gonna vote for Roy. That's what everybody thinks. If Roy plays this advantage towards Sailor, Sailor votes for himself. Damning, right? Crystal, who told us this, said she would vote for Sailor. I could vote for Sailor too. And then Andreas and Roy, who were brought into this plan, we all had this group text about it, could vote for Sarah. Sarah's the only vote that actually gets played on Roy, and we have a 3-2-1 sending Sailor home, and if he plays the idol, sending Sarah home. Then whoop-de-doo, we have a happy little 4.
So I'm gonna give this to Roy tomorrow, which will help keep some heat off of me. I had a solid, either way, my vote was solid. My position in this game is so good, but I'm gonna risk it all just to make this show so much more fun for you guys, and to rack up my resume.
At first, I thought, well, what if Crystal betrays us and she votes for Roy or something? And as long as Sailor's vote flips back on itself, the worst case scenario, it's a 2-2-2. So I remember saying out loud on the phone, even if you are lying to us, this plan works. But there's one outcome I didn't think about at first. If Crystal's lying to us, she could tell Sailor and Sarah, hell, maybe they came up with this all together. I think they did. Roy's reflective vote play on Sailor only works if Sailor votes for Roy. So what if Sailor votes for Andreas? What if Sarah votes for Andreas? What if Crystal votes for Andreas? Andreas clearly put himself on our side when he got on board with Crystal's plan. Crystal can use that as a reason oh my God, we should kill Andreas. He's trying to kill you and Sarah and Sailor. Crystal could say Andreas, he clearly wants to betray y'all. He'd rather work with Roy and Michael. He felt bad about last week. He's going to vote with them this week to try and kill y'all. Let's send Andreas home now when he doesn't expect it. The advantage comes into play because it's a dud. It doesn't do anything, but it lets us accidentally expose ourselves to a 3-vote majority. I sat there and I thought about this for a long time. If they're lying to us, what if we gave Andreas the advantage and he played it on Sailor? If that was the case, Sailor's vote would turn around and come back on him. Andreas could vote for Sarah like planned. I could vote for Sarah like planned. And all of a sudden we have 2 votes on each of them. If Crystal votes for Andreas and Sarah votes for Andreas and Sailor was doing it too, but it came back to him. Now we have a 2-2 tie where me and Roy and Crystal get a pick between the 3 of them for someone to go home. Even if Crystal's telling the truth. If Crystal's telling the truth and Sarah and Sailor are voting for Roy and Crystal is voting for Sailor with us, then Andreas's reflective vote doesn't work, but what it does is it gives us another 2-2. Andreas's reflection does nothing, but Sailor goes there and Sarah goes there, and we still have a 2-2-2-2 where we have more people voting than they do. The only way this screws up is if Crystal anticipates that we're going to anticipate that she's lying and make the Andreas switch, and then they all go for Roy. And I don't know if I see a world where that happens.
Okay, I'm heading to Roy to pick up the advantage. I see him right now. Okay, let's see. Yeah, he said it was gonna be like a drug deal, so let's see how smooth we can make this.
If I make it through tonight, this guy filming right here, my roommate, I beat both of my roommates who got voted out at 6th in Survivor. I've tied them right now. If I make it through this week, I get to give them Survivor advice the rest of my life.
We will now welcome in the members of the jury. Catalina, Jackson, and Alexis voted out at last tribal council. There are officially less players in the game than started out on one tribe. Michael, how does it feel to have immunity yet again?
It feels great, Cooper. It's the only thing that like makes me feel okay. It's at a phase now where you talk to everybody and you can just like immediately discount that at least some of those people are lying to you or something. And so the only thing you can trust is this crown.
Roy, how do you figure out who you can trust if you don't have the crown?
It's tough. You know, you just gotta trust in some conversations that you've had. You know, at one point I was considering trying to convince Michael why he didn't need that crown. You know, I was like, hey, you can give it away before the voting starts, you know, just so you know. But yeah, you just gotta trust in conversations you've had.
Sarah, what does a round of gameplay look like now?
I think you just go around, you talk to many people as possible and see where their head's at. And then you throw an idea, they throw an idea, and if you guys are on the same wavelength, you go with it. And if not, you just kind of part your ways.
Crystal, do you think there are still alliances in the game?
I mean, I feel like all the big alliances I started off with in the game are kind of like, well, there was only one, but it kind of just like exploded like 3 tribals ago. So for me personally, I just have gotten close to people, like newly gotten close to people, because like all these people like I didn't talk to like very much at all until like last week. So I guess new friends, but I wouldn't say new alliances, because it's like super far into the game where like you can't really like have alliances for like a super long time because one of them gets voted out. But yeah, I would say just friendly relationships.
Sailor, what scares you the most in this game right now?
Well, I mean, the obvious answer is getting voted out. I mean, there's so few people here. Everyone's name's bound to get thrown out at some point. I mean, I've heard every single person's name at least once in the last week, you know? And so I'm just scared that at some point it's gonna hit me and it's gonna stay there and I'm gonna be gone. So it's definitely just like, you have conversations, you feel good with that conversation, and then 3 hours later you start thinking and you're like, wait a minute, no, I don't feel good, or there's something going on. And so it's just, you know, I just want to be here another day. So it's always scary coming to tribal.
Roy, how do you make sure that wheel doesn't stop on you? How do you make sure that you're not the one to get voted out?
Man, it's just being able to get a grasp of where everyone's head's at, I think, is like a huge thing. Because like if you don't know like where people are really leaning, then you're 10 steps behind. So you just gotta be active.
Sarah, where do idols come into play?
There are at least 2 out there. One from the prickly pears, someone has it, and then one from the merge, something where people get clues. And that's at least 2. And someone's gonna play it at some point, and that's gonna either screw people over or it's gonna be okay. But that's definitely gonna, I don't know, hopefully it's okay.
Crystal, how do you think about the end of the game? How do you think about the people or person that you'll sit next to?
I don't know. Honestly, I'm more concerned about just like surviving these upcoming tribals and then hoping I can talk my way above everybody else, anyone else that like goes in. But I also think that like, I don't know, it's hard to predict what's in a juror's head, and like you're playing with a jury, and honestly, I don't know a lot about the relationships that people in the jury have had with like every individual person here, because I have not interacted with like most people here for most of the game. Like, I feel like I only have there's 3 pricklies and 2 blue bonnets here, so like I really only know more about 2 people here. So like it's like I don't even know who would do well or not in the jury, because like I don't really know how they are.
Sailor, Crystal brings up a good point. If you look at the jury right now, you see 2 blue bonnets and 2 prickly pears. Do you factor that in? Do you factor tribal lines in at the final 6?
Yeah, you definitely think about it. You know, is it the end all be all? We'll see when the time comes, but it's definitely something you think about. You got to think about, you know, who, you know, just likes people more than others, you know, is who would guarantee get a jury vote in a final 3 situation from certain people. We don't know how the jury's going to vote. You know, they could be people that, you know, vote for people that they made good connections with. They could vote for people that they felt like were very strategic. We have no idea. So it's definitely something to think about, but it's definitely not like the end all be all of a decision.
Andres, how do you think the jury's going to vote?
I don't know how the jury's going to vote. I hope they'd vote for me. I mean, at the end of the day, you can't really look into someone's mind and see where they're headed. But I think everyone's just trying to play the best game that they have, just so that the jury has no doubt that they did play the best game. And I think that's the best approach that you can have when it comes to a jury like this, because yeah, I don't know if any of the votes are guaranteed yet. So yeah.
Well, Survivor is a game of decisions. Hopefully y'all made the right one. With that, it is time to vote. Andres, you're up first.
This is probably the most nervous I've been coming to Tribal Council, just because I am taking a risk today, right? First, I'm voting for Sarah. That's just the way the cookie crumbles, and also, I have this advantage that I acquired from Roy, from Crystal, but I do not think I'm going to be playing it today. I'll just let it die out. Trusting in myself, taking risks. We'll see.
So I don't trust you, Crystal. That's why I'm just played the advantage.
Great dude, but I don't think I could win anything against him, and he might just win. So, bye, mister.
I'll go tally the votes. If you have an idol or an advantage and you'd like to play it, now would be the time to do so. All right, I'll read the votes. Roy. That's 1 vote, Roy. Sarah. 1 vote, Sarah. 1 vote, Roy. Sailor. 1 vote, Sailor. 1 vote, Sarah. 1 vote, Roy. Sailor. That's 2 votes, Sailor. 1 vote, Sarah. 1 vote, Roy. Roy. That's 2 votes, Roy. 2 votes, Sailor. 1 vote, Sarah. 1 vote left. Sarah. We have a tie. The rules of Survivor state that in a tie, those in the tie will not vote, leaving everybody else to cast a vote for only a member of the tie. That means Andres, Michael, Crystal, you all will re-vote, and you can only vote for Sarah, Roy, or Sailor. Sarah, Roy, or Sailor, you cannot vote. If there's a tie again, you will have the opportunity to discuss, and if you cannot reach a consensus, then the 3 of you will draw rocks. although Michael's a mutant, so he won't. All right, Andres, you're up first.
I'll see you at Tribal Council next time on the jury bench.
What in the, like, actually what the.
All right, once again, I'll tally the votes. Sailor. That's 1 vote, Sailor. 8th person voted out as Survivor Texas Blossoms and Thorns, and the 4th member of the jury, Sailor. Just bring me your torch. Sailor, tribe has spoken. All right, well, I can't say I've seen a vote quite like that before. The game is not over yet. There's still plenty to be played. The 5 cherry blossoms remaining, you guys have your final 5 individual immunity challenge right now. Get to it.
I'm mad. I can't say I'm surprised. I knew it seemed too easy. Crystal and Sarah, give them an Oscar. Clearly, they were playing me. I stand true. I think these people are not maybe the smartest because I really don't see the logic in this. Roy and Mike were just going to win these immunities out. I guarantee Roy and Michael will both be in Final 3. But I mean, I felt like it was worth the risk to go for it. If I made it through tonight, I was going to be Final 4. I didn't want to say anything about the idol going out because I want them to still be paranoid about it. At this point, Andreas, make it all the way. You have my vote. I'll vouch for you on the jury.
Good game. Unfortunately, I beat you. Fortunately, I beat you, actually. Unfortunate for you.
You played the best game so far, so go Andreas, Michael. I don't know what y'all did to, I guess Crystal and Sarah were a lot closer than I thought, so sucks, but it is what it is. I'm still proud of the game I played.